So today topic is reaction of metals and non-metals with water. In the last lecture, what we studied, reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen. So all metals and non-metals, when react with oxygen, they form oxides. And what about metals of non-metals with water? So in this topic, we will study about reaction with water. So as we know, sodium metal is a very reactive metal. So it reacts very, it is very reactive metal and it is on the top of reactivity series. So when sodium metal reacts with oxygen and it reacts with also with the water, then this reaction is exothermic reaction. What do you mean by exothermic reaction? A reaction in which a lot of heat is produced. So again, I am repeating. What do you mean by exothermic reaction? The reaction in which a lot of heat is generated. So this is called exothermic reaction. So when sodium metal reacts with water, then reacts with water, then heat is generated, and a lot of heat is generated in this reaction. So as we know, sodium metal, we store it in the kerosene. And why we store it in the kerosene? Because sodium metal is very reactive metal. When it react with oxygen and water, then a lot of heat is generated and it can create explosion also. So we store these metal in the kerosene. So this is a question, why we kept sodium metal in the kerosene. As we know, sodium metal is very reactive metal, and when it reacts with air and water, then a lot of heat is generated in this reaction. So this reaction is called exothermic reaction. And what do you mean by exothermic reaction? The reaction in which a lot of heat is generated. So we kept sodium metal into the kerosene. Next is activity 4.5. This activity always done in the presence of teacher, and in this activity we take a size of sodium metal piece, and the size of this sodium metal piece is roughly the size of wheat grain. So firstly we will take a sodium metal, and the size of sodium metal is about the size of wheat grain. So in the figure 4.5, what is the reaction? In this beaker, firstly we will take a sodium metal, and what is the size of this sodium metal? And the size of this sodium metal is the size of wheat grain, and it should be held with a pair of tongs. And what is pair of tongs? It is like a spoon, and it is like a hanging part, and with the help of it we can we can cap the sodium metal into it. So firstly we will take a beaker of 250 ml, and if beaker is not available, we can take 250 ml glass tumbler, and then we will fill it with the help of water. So in the figure 4.5, firstly we'll take a beaker of 250 ml, and then we will add some water into this beaker. Now we put a small piece of sodium metal into it and dry it using filter paper and wrap it into a small piece of cotton. So then we take a sodium piece metal, and we will dry it with the help of filter paper. Why we dry it with the help of filter paper? Because sodium reacts with water, and we will dry it with, firstly we will dry with the help of filter paper. and wrap it into a small piece of cotton and put the sodium piece wrapped in cotton into the beaker. So during this experiment, we take a 250 ml beaker, and firstly we will fill this beaker half with the water, and then we will take a so small piece of sodium metal about the size of wheat grain, and we will put it into the piece of cotton, and then we will put the sodium piece into the beaker. And what is the observation? When reaction stoves touch the beaker, what do you feel? When we touch the beaker, it will become hot. Why becomes hot? Test the solution with red and litmus paper. Is the solution acidic or basic? So all the metals reacts with the water. And when we take sodium metal and we will cap it into the small piece of cotton, and when we will fill take will cotton piece and wrap into the cotton piece and then put it into the beaker filled with the water. So sodium reacts with water, and when sodium reacts with water, then what is the formation? Na plus H2O. Then reaction is, after reaction, NaOH. NaOH is formed, and it is a very exothermic reaction. So our beaker becomes very hot. So our beaker becomes very hot in this reaction. So this reaction is exothermic reaction. How will you
Yeah.
check whether a reaction is exothermic or not? If in the reaction a lot of heat is generated, so it is exothermic reaction. If in the reaction, if no heat is generated, so it is not an exothermic reaction. So when we touch the beaker with our hands, then these will then this will this when we feel with when we feel hot with this beaker, then this reaction is exothermic reaction. So this reaction is exothermic reaction. So again, I am repeating this activity. Firstly, we will take a 250 ml beaker and or glass tumbler, and then we will fill half of these with the water. After filling half of it with the water, then take a small piece of sodium metal, and then if we cut a small piece of sodium metal, and then we will wrap in the piece of cotton. Why we will wrap with a piece of cotton? Because it does not come into the contact of air. So when we wrap it into the cotton piece, then put it into the water. And when we will put into the water, then sodium reacts with water. Then what is the formation? NaOH. NaOH is a formation. So has the beaker become hot? Yes. Why it becomes hot? Because it is exothermic reaction. And we will test this solution with the red litmus and blue litmus paper, whether it is acid or base, as we done in the previous activity. Next is, you observe that sodium reacts vigorously with the water. Some other metals do not so. So as we know, sodium is a very highly reactive metal, and some other metals do not do so. Some reacts with very vigorously with water, but some metals do not react with the water. So though all metals does not react with the water, some reacts very vigorously and some reacts very slowly. So all the metals does not react with the water. Some metals reacts with vigorously with water, and some reacts with the water very slowly. For example, when iron reacts with water, then the reaction is very slow reaction. And because and when sodium reacts with water, then it is a very vigorously reaction. So all matters does not react, all metal does not react with water. Some metals react vigorously with water, and some metals reacts does not some metals reacts with water very slowly. Generally, non-metals do not react with water. All metals reacts, but non-metal do not react with water. But non-metal reacts with air. So no, so a question is non-metal reacts with water or not? So non-metal do not react with water. So is non-metal react with air? Yes, non-metal reacts with air. Such non-metals are kept in the are stored in the water. For example, phosphorus. As we know, phosphorus is very reactive non-metal, and it catch fire if it exposed to air. So when we kept phosphorus in the air, then it catch fire. Why it catch fire? Because it is a very reactive non-metal and it reacts with the air. All non-metals reacts with the air, but non-metals do not react with the water. So you have to remember all matters reacts with air and all known metals also react with air, but all known matters do not react with water. So when we take phosphorus and when we kept these phosphorus in the air, so it catch fire. So it catch fire to prevent the contact of phosphorus with atmospheric oxygen. It is stored in water. So you have to prevent the contact of phosphorus with oxygen. So we will cap these phosphorus into the water. So question is, why we capped phosphorus into the water? Why we store phosphorus into the water? Because phosphorus is a very reactive non-metal, and when it comes in the contact of air, then it become then highly explosion may be occur. So we store these metal in water. So what is the conclusion? All matters reacts with water. Some reacts vigorously with water, and some reacts very slowly with the water. So, and what about the phosphorus? Why we kept this into the air? Because phosphorus is a very reactive non-metal, and when it is kept into the air, then explosion may be occur. So, to prevent this explosion, we store these metal into the water. So, there are some questions. First question is first question is, what do you why is the metal and non-metal reacts with water or not? Answer is metal. When metal reacts with water, then some metals react with water very vigorously, and some metals reacts with water very slowly. For example, sodium metal, it reacts with water very vigorously, and suppose iron metal, it reacts very slowly with water. And what about non-metal? No, no, all non-metal do not react with water. So you have to remember these things. All non-metal do not react with the water. So you have to remember these things. And what is the activity 4.5? It is a reaction of sodium metal with water, and it is a very important reaction, and it is a very explosive reaction. And what is the exothermic reaction? In the reaction in which a lot of heat is generated, then this reaction is called exothermic reaction. What is exothermic reaction? A reaction in which a lot of heat is generated, then this reaction is called exothermic reaction. And what is the activity 4.5? We are taking a piece of sodium metal. And what is a when we take piece of sodium metal and when we wrap into a piece of cotton, small piece of cotton, And when we put these small pieces into the cotton, and we will put it into the water. Firstly, we'll take a 250 ml beaker, and when we take 250 ml beaker, and after taking for 25 ml beaker, we fill this beaker with the water, half with the water, and then we will take sodium metal, and we will wrap the sodium metal into a piece of cotton. Why we put this sodium metal into this piece of cotton? Because when we take this sodium metal, it reacts with oxygen, and so to avoid this reaction, we will put these sodium metal into a piece of cotton. And when we put these metal, and we will put these piece into the cotton, so the reaction does not occur, and then we will take these cotton piece into the beaker. And after putting these into the beaker, what is the observation? An explosion may occur, and the beaker becomes hot. Why beaker become hot? Because when the sodium reacts with water, then NaOH is formed, and a lot of heat is generated in this reaction. A lot of heat is generated in this reaction, and it so due to this heat, it becomes very hot. And we will check the solution is acidic or basic, and we can check it with the help of red and blue litmus paper. So we can check it with the help of red and blue litmus paper. So sodium metal is a very highly reactive metal, and so it acts vigorously with water. So how sodium reacts with water? It reacts vigorously with water. So, but some metals do not react, and some reacts very slowly with water. So some metals react vigorously with water, and some other metal do not, and some reacts with water very slowly. And what about non-metal? Non-metal do not react with the water, and so, but all non-metals can be reactive in air. And so why we put the phosphorus into the why we stored phosphorus into the water? Because phosphorus is a very reactive non-metal, and it can catch fire if it is kept into the air. So to prevent this explosion, it is stored into the water. And next reaction is reaction with acids. In the previous class, what we have studied, reaction of metals and non-metals with the oxygen, and reaction of metals and non-metals with the water. And third reaction is reaction with acids. And this is a chemical property of metals and non-metals. So how metals and non-metals behave with acids? So what is acid and what is base? The substance which are sour in taste are called acid, and the substance which are bitter in taste are called base. If there is a difference in the way and metals and non-metals reacts with acid, what could the pop sound in some cases may be due to the burning mastic is brought near the mouth of the test tube. So what about the reaction with acids? So you have to do activity 4.6. So we are taking four samples. We are taking the different samples of metals and non-metals. Then we will add some acid into it, and then we will add some base into it. So firstly, we'll take samples of metals and non-metals listed in the separate test tube and label them A, B, C, D, E, F. So in the test tube A, what we are taking magnesium ribbon, and the test tube B, we are taking aluminium. In the test tube C, we are taking iron fillings. So what is iron fillings? Small piece of iron is called are called iron fillings. And in the D test tube, what we are taking copper. Copper is we are taking in in the test tube D. And in the test tube E, we are taking charcoal. And in the test tube F, we are taking sulfur. So in the different test tube, we are taking different metals and non-metals. So in the test tube A, magnesium ribbon, and the test tube B, aluminium foil, and in the test tube C, iron fillings, and the test tube D, we are taking copper, and in the test tube E, we are taking charcoal, and in the test tube F, we are taking sulfur powder. So with the help of dropper, add 5 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid to each test tube. So in the each test tube A, B, C, D, E and F, we are adding dilute hydrochloric acid. What is the formula of hydrochloric acid? HCl. HCl is the formula of hydrochloric acid. And what do you mean by dilute hydrochloric acid? When water is added into any solution, then it will become dilute. So what is dilute hydrochloric acid? When water is added to any solution, then it becomes dilute. So dilute hydrochloric acid. So dilute hydrochloric acid is when water is added into the hydrochloric acid, then it will become dilute. So there are two types of hydrochloric acid. First is concentrated hydrochloric acid and next is dilute hydrochloric acid. And what do you mean by concentrated hydrochloric acid? When no water is mixed into the hydrochloric acid, then it is concentrated. When water is mixed into the hydrochloric acid, then it is dilute. So we are taking dilute hydrochloric acid and we are adding some drops of dilute hydrochloric acid